Now, because we do the show on Tuesday, we had a debate last Wednesday. So pretty much everything that could be said about the debate has already been said. So we could touch on it for a few minutes and get your thoughts. Do you have any particular thoughts? And again, I'm sure we'll have to bring up Vivek Ramaswamy because of this. But again, I have zero interest from this point on really talking about him and giving any attention to him whatsoever, whether we have however many viewers that we get. It doesn't, I've kind of discovered now that he's a clown and he's not serious. But anyway, what were your thoughts? We talked about winners, we talked about losers, what were you thinking while watching it?
So, when I first started watching it, I started getting sick to my stomach because I was watching the video in the beginning, and then a woman singing the national anthem that thought she was Whitney Houston. I was just
and I'm sorry not to come. I'll let you
no,
finish
go ahead.
that. I love the national anthem. I think it's a prideful song, and I think when you're amongst a lot of people and you're singing it, there is a great feeling about it. But I don't care. Those people, when they play the national anthem before that and they televise it, it's theater. That's exactly what that is.
To me too. I was just like,
yeah.
So I shut it off for a minute, just change the channel. Then I'm like, just do it. Let's do it.
Mm-hmm.
Just watch it. And I switched back, and that's when they were talking about the, Democrats want abortion at 40 weeks, and just the lies and the lies. I'm just like, oh my God, I don't know how I'm going to stomach this. And that's the problem with watching the Republican debate. They just lie. So it's hard to go through it because it's just not even so whatever the case is, that was that. So,
and by the way, Lana, when you have it on Fox News, when they're not going to really push back on a lot of the answers, they kind of let them lie. There was a little pushback here and there, but for the most part,
right. It got good, and you just asked the question, and I didn't answer the question. The highlight for me, and probably for mostly everyone, was when, not to talk about Vivek, but this is Vivek, and he had Pence here, and he had Nikki here, and Pence was like, they were talking about foreign policy, and Pence was like, this isn't an on-the-job training. We don't need any rookies. And Nikki going, what did she say? Oh, you don't know anything about foreign policy, and it shows. So that's the highlight. And then it went, bah, 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 bah.
Yeah.
If Trump is convicted, who here would vote for them? Everyone's like,
disgusting. Well, it was even more disgusting as you saw this, then another one, and Ron DeSantis looking around. Okay, I guess they're doing it, so I guess I have to too.
Oh yeah, Ron was there, wasn't he?
Well, that was one of my things, is that in the beginning it looked like Ron DeSantis was doing the pointing, and he was presidential, and he's going to be the Ron DeSantis that got him here, the reason why people in Florida love him so much. And then you're right, the second half of it, it was like people forgot about him, and they started paying attention to this idiot Vivek Ramaswamy, and it was almost like he was just looking around going, I don't know if he was thinking, why are they not talking to me? Or I'm glad they're not talking to me. I got the sense almost like, I'm glad, fuck it. Get me out of this.
Until somebody said something about education. I think Vivek said demolishing education. And then that was Ron DeSantis, got real, he was happy. Oh yeah, education. You see what Florida is doing with education.
Yeah.
Indoctrinating your kids. We're sending woke to the graveyard. He was just so happy to be radical left, woke, CRT. He was just all of the things. Oh my God.
Yeah, it was almost like he almost was sitting there okay, when are they going to talk about my stuff? And then he heard, he's like, oh shit, here we go. All right, this is me. All right, let's go.
Exactly. We're going to talk about what I'm proficient in. Yeah.
Right. Now, I'm not sure, based on what you said earlier too, because I have the same thoughts. I'm not sure if a second debate is something I'm going to be interested in watching. Maybe I can just handle the clips or whatever it is, but because it seems like it's going to be about the same kind of nonsense, that I think Fox Business is the next host of it. Again, whether you're Republican, Democrat, none of these debates should be held and by any news organization
Right.
that seems to have a bias towards the people who are up on the stage. So because to me, what does that get for you? It doesn't
Right.
tell you, other than, we're basically just making this a big commercial for the Republican candidates, and we're not making it, why are they important for
Right.
the American people? And again, you could correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm not sure I heard of any major policies by the
None.
Republicans that would help the American people, other than what they think would be like early term abortions.
That's it.
Yeah,
No healthcare,
nothing,
no lowering the cost of your
nothing.
medicine like the Biden administration is doing right now.
Yep.
They didn't talk about Social Security that they're trying to cut. They're not talking about. They didn't talk about like making tuition free. They talked about not indoctrinating your children.
Right. Right.
Like, why is that so important? And the cost of tuition in your state or just in general, like, what's wrong with people?
Well, because on that side, college is the enemy, because college means further education. And the more you're educated, more likely you're not going to vote for me. So even though all those people up there went to Yale, Princeton, Harvard,
Right.
they went to the top of all of the top colleges,
Yeah.
and now they're preaching college is stupid.
Right.
And again, I'm not saying you have to go to college, and I'm not saying,
Right.
I mean, I know plenty of successful people who've never stepped foot in college.
College doesn't make you smart. That's obvious because we see it on that stage. And they went to Ivy Leagues and they're a bunch of fucking idiots.
Correct.
Right. So that college does not make you smart. When we talk about undereducated, we're not talking about because you didn't go to college. We're talking about you don't have critical thinking.
Correct. That's what it is. And, that's another thing when you see the attacks on people from Twitter and stuff, is that it's my side that doesn't have the critical thinking, that we don't step back and go, well, why are they, why aren't they, or why are they so angry about government? Why are they so angry about, Black people and all this stuff? And again, it's, when I alluded to this earlier, I used to listen to conservative radio every single day, and I would get a sense a little bit more of where they were coming from. I, for the most part, still didn't agree with everything they came from, but at least at some point they would make some points and be like, okay, I can see that at least. Now it's a clown show to where what am I going to do now at this point? There's nothing to give into anymore. And somebody would say, well, you don't listen to it anymore. So well, no, I don't, because I've done it. I've listened to it. I have a large sample size of exactly what they were saying. And then it turned into this show that just does not appeal to me as somebody that I at least feel have some sort of intellect.
Right. Right. No, you're absolutely right. Who's watching that anymore? It's like, you watch Fox, you'll see Black people arrested, but Chicago, blah, 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 Baltimore. They're yelling at each other about who the fuck knows what. They're not talking about government and government roles anymore. It's Hunter Biden and his laptop.
Right.
It's Hunter Biden's dick pictures. Like, it's just they probably talking about Hillary still. Like, it's just so
they talk about Hillary all the time.
Yeah, Biden fell off of his bike. Like, they're not talking about news. It's the Ukrainian president is on the take. Like, it's just all of the
and it's having on the same guy that already was testifying, this Devin whatever his name, I can't remember. Now, apparently, he's coming out on Fox News in free flow interviews.
Oh my!
And he's
saying,
they're
probably paying him. Like, why is he there?
Even if they're not, I mean, let's say he's coming on, he will say things again. It's all innuendo to make it look like we can continue this in the news. And basically, what they're trying to do at this point is they're trying to confuse some people, because we already know who's not voting for Joe Biden. We already know. So what they're doing is trying to confuse people into either maybe the who's the gentleman's name that's running for the for the
No
other party.
labels, no labels
No,
party.
not no labels. It's is he the not the Green Party or and I like him too, but he's the one who owes child support 500,000. He's telling rich
Oh,
people,
what's
hey,
I don't like him.
Doctor,
Yeah,
Cornell West,
yeah,
Cornell
Cornell.
West.
Mhm.
Yeah. So,
I used
or
to
the
like
Robert
him.
Kennedy Juniors you should look at, and not Biden, because he's just as corrupt as Donald Trump is. Or they're not even saying that. They're just
Right,
saying, look,
right,
if you don't like corruption, then you need to get rid of all these guys and
right,
start fresh and make people think that's maybe the route we should take.
right.
And I can't see why. I don't know why.
I don't know why. I kind of think that you probably agree. The Republicans have got who they're going to get.
Mhm.
There's no minds are going to be changed. Whoever's
Yep.
voting for Trump is going to vote for Trump. If it's not Trump, they're not going to vote for DeSantis. Maybe some will, but not a lot. But I
Yeah.
think that will balance out because some independents will move over to DeSantis. But I think it's going to even it out anyway for
Yeah.
what he lost with Trump voters. All of the independents are not going to vote for Ron DeSantis because independents are pretty smart voters.
Yeah.
And they are for Roe and sensible gun control. And they are sitting back watching Congress, like the rest of us are watching Congress do absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
Like and this is the thing that bothers me. It probably bothers you. Remember when they were running for president and they were asking people if they were going to vote for Biden or if they were going to vote for Donald Trump. And everybody was like, my kitchen table issues, my kitchen table issues. I
Yep.
need something different because my kitchen table issues are important.
Yep.
Republicans have yet to talk about voted against extra production of baby formula when we were down. They voted against that. They voted against pumping more oil or whatever the hell was the solution, but they were trying to vote. They voted against it. Like those are your kitchen table issues, but like they forget about it, and then Americans just we talk about kids have a short attention span. Oh God, this is adults are just they forget.
Yeah, Lana, they don't even have a kitchen table in their house. They're basically wanting their voters to eat off the fucking floor. That's what they want. There is no kitchen table. They don't even own one.
That's
So,
true.
and that's what it is. The Democrats, at least, almost every issue is a kitchen table issue.
Every single issue.
Yeah, and
they
it's
talk
just
about
amazing. And again, that's where people are just trying to use language because they don't want to sound dumb. They don't want to sound like they're not part of the scheme. And I appreciate that, at least. And I appreciate that you want to be, but it is difficult as somebody. And again, I think you would say the same thing about yourself. I would say the same thing about myself. I don't know everything about everything,
Right.
but when you really look into what is good for your family, what is good for you, what is good for your friends' family. The Democrats are the only ones that are working on these solutions. Are they going to get everything done? No. But are you going to go, because they can't get everything done, then I'm just going to look at this other party that's just going to say fuck you to everybody? I just don't get it.
No policy, like no that, and I thought about that today. I'm like, you know what? When a troll comes on my timeline and says something ridiculous, I'm going to say, can you just name one policy that Republicans are for that will help Americans?
Yeah.
Name one, because I don't
Yep.
know any that they're talking about.
Well, I think it's they'll keep transgender girls from playing in boy sport,
Well,
or
how does that
transgender
help
boys playing in girls
Americans? Right.
sports.
And how does that help Americans? Like, does that give you a raise? Does that help with the cost of living?
Oh, I
Like,
think I know it'll certainly help the 4 people that that it's
right.
really happening to.
Right.
But outside of that, you're right. It's just they don't. Their responses are crazy. Another one that I like to ask is just do me a favor, and I even tell them, I guarantee you won't answer the question, but I'm going to give you even 3 opportunities to answer.
Mm-hmm.
Can you just tell me 5 of the sources of where you get your news daily, because I promise you I can tell you mine,
Right.
but I ask, can you just give me 5 sources?
Right. Right.
And they either will never answer the question,
Mhm.
or they're going to say things like the BBC, or I'm just like, dude, you don't get your fucking
You
news
sure don't.
from the BBC. Get
You
the
sure
fuck
don't.
out of here.
You sure
Or
don't.
Reuters. Reuters, PBS. Yeah.
There was one guy on there. This video was on Twitter or whatever, X, whatever it's called, and the man was interviewing the guy, and he was like, who won the whatever 2020 election? And the guy's like, Donald Trump won the election because he won. It was stolen from him, right? And just all this stuff. And the guy's like, okay, well, how do you know? He's like, 'cause it just was. It just was. What's the proof that you have? Have you seen the proof?
No.
It just was.
Yeah.
These guys can tell you. Then he's not going.
Right. Come over here, guys. Help me out, because I have no fucking idea how to answer this question.
He just started looking stupid. And then, no. And then before he said, come on, guys, he's like, oh, take that mic and shove it where the sun doesn't shine. He got so pissed he had to start threatening him. And that's what they do.
Yeah. When we talk about too, where you're just like, how do you vote for this guy? How do you?
Yeah.
I don't know if you saw a tweet or a truth, whatever it is that he calls it, recently, that he wanted to let somebody know that rumor has it about something, but the first word was rumor, and he spelled it ROOMER. That is the former president of the United States who spelled the word. And there is don't give me the spell check thing, because if I tried to spell rumor on my phone, I fucking guarantee you it would not come up ROOMER. That's the former president of the United States.
He said rumor.
And he spells stolen, by the way, every time he spells it. STOLLEN with 2 L's. I'm literally every time. In fact, you'll see on Twitter the word Stalin, STOLLEN, will be trending every day he does it.
And if he was writing about Stalin, he would put stolen.
Right, exactly. It's unbelievable.